Hello viewers, once again to Peter Elgar's channel. I'm going to talk with friends from Brentwood and District Photographic Club tonight. This is a joint meeting. How exciting! Yes, now all you film users, I know on my YouTube channel are very keen for me to do lots more videos about film. But some members, I'm afraid, they don't like film. Well, we do, don't we? Anyway, this is about using the shift lens on my Pentax 6x7. Now, years ago, you had to use a shift lens or a rising front on a view camera in order to get the top of buildings in, and also to correct the sideways perspective as well. Then came the famous digital and Photoshop, and people say, well, you can do that in Photoshop now. Yes, but when I got this camera in 1982, I think it was, digital wasn't invented. I was getting work from a company that specialised in selling commercial properties, so I had to treated myself to a Pentax 6x7 and the famous shift lens, as well as other lenses. And this is what we're going to show you now. You've got to understand first of all that all lenses, they provide you with a circular field of view. You might have you think, well, it's an oblong shape or square shape if you're Hasselblad or Rolleiflex use. No. You see, there's your oblong shape of your 6x7 as a horizontal one, or that is as you might do it for a vertical picture, and your lens will cast a circle of confusion that size on the outside, is it called, and it gets a bit fuzzy at the edges. So that's why sometimes you get what is known as vignetting in the corners here. When the corner gets too close to the cut-off point here of the circle of illumination of your lens, you get what is known as vignetting. Then what you've got to do, you've got to move this up and down and sideways, but what do you do about the circle? You have to have a lens with a much bigger circle of illumination, like this. You see, this is a much bigger circle of illumination, and your oblong format or square sits in there, and you can move it about by changing the position of the lens. So don't forget, it's all upside down. So if you're going to take a picture of a building, you want to get the top in, you've got to move your lens up, and then the image of your picture of your photograph you're taking goes down here, and there's the top of the building here and there's the bottom of the building there, and you can get it all in. That's how you do it. You've got to have a lens specially designed. That's why they're expensive. Anyway, my one, luckily was tax deductible. It was a heavy. It's a 4.5 75mm Pentax shift lens. A red dot to red dot. I can never see the red dots with my glasses on. Oh, there we are. Red dot to red dot. Take the massive lens cap off. There we are. Now, how did it work? Well, you have a secondary ring here that you twist, and as you twist your secondary ring, so your lens goes up or down or sideways. So that's what I do for my vertical pictures. I twist it until the lens rises up like that. And then if you've got a view that you want to point your camera down like that, you've got to turn it so that the little green dot is round the bottom of your lens here. At the bottom, yes, there we are. Then when you turn the ring, the lens goes down that way. Then you can get in subjects which you want to take at a lower angle, and you don't want converging verticals. So what happens in practice you have to give a bit more exposure if you are going to rise your lens up, because you are getting near the edge of the circle of illumination cast by the lens. So I give it half a stop more when I've raised up my lens to take my snaps. I made a lot of money, and as usual the company went broke, and that all finished. I was using Agfacolor CT18 slide film, and I'd buy 100 rolls at a time from a company called Exeter Photographic, who bought up the entire stock, and it was process paid for I think £1.50 a roll. I'd buy 100 rolls and go out all these places around photographing commercial buildings. And you've got to have it on a tripod, and usually you have a cable release in here. So I've got the camera set now. So we'll set it to, say, 30th of a second. We'll set the lens, stop it down for a bit of depth of field to f11. It's a preset lens, so there's a little dot here, and you set your aperture you want opposite that, and then you turn the rear lens until the two dots match. That's what you call a preset lens. You can't have anything automatic on a shift lens. Unlock it, and then take your snap. My God, fathers, what a sound of the fantastic shutter of the 6x7. That's what you call a beast. Now people say you get camera shake. Well, Pentax have thought about that. You provide a catch here on the side, put the mirror up, and then it's much quieter. You still get the mirror coming up and going down, but you don't get any shake and vibration. So there we are, that's me lovely shift lens. Now we're going to show you some snaps. So I went out to Wilson's Corner specifically in the dark rain to take some snaps for this lecture. Now I went out and lined it up with the back vertical like that, and I got all the buildings at Wilson's Corner, but I didn't get the top of the building in because the back of the camera is vertical, so you get the vertical straight, you don't get the top in. So then you tilt your camera back to get the top in, and then look what happens. If I get the right one. It knocked a great deal of difference actually. The sides go a bit strange, they tilt. They're not the sides are not vertical because I tried to get the top in. So you use your shift lens, you put your shift lens on rising front, and it brings it up so that you can get the vertical straight like that, and there's no convergence of the verticals. So I went out with Ray Surridge on some of our trips, and we did a picture in Ongar, at St Martin's Ongar. This time I held the camera vertically, so you get it all in with a vertical shot. That's quite on full rising front. So I gave it quite a bit extra exposure. Then we went to do a shot in St Willingale. Oh yes, this is an interior of the Willingale St Andrews and All Saints Church at Willingale. A time exposure, carefully metered with a Western Master 5, and allowed for reciprocity failure of the film, which was Fuji Superior 100, which I developed myself. And then we went to Firefield Church, and outside there's a wonderful display in the garden. So that's where I used a drop front. I had the camera back vertically, so I dropped it, and then all this came in on the viewfinder. And I got a nice snap showing all the spring flowers and a few of the little graves there, and the verticals are still vertical. That was that one. Then at Ongar, I did this shot down the lane by St Martin's Church at Ongar. That was with the lens, hardly any rise in front, but I've got the verticals nice. I stopped it down, because there was a big black rain cloud coming over, and Ray Surridge was here about to get a coffee, and he treated me to a coffee, so he's in the picture. But that was no filter, and very, very nice lighting on the foreground buildings, and a beautiful shot with the 75mm shift lens. So there we are. I hope you've enjoyed the little diatribe on that, and thanks for you YouTubers who support my channel with Buy Me a Coffee stroke film. I really appreciate that, and on my next trips out I can actually use some fresh film. And don't forget to subscribe and press the little bell thing down below, and you'll get an indication of my next video. So thanks for watching this one about the shift lens. Bye bye for now.